Are you considering selling your house here in Fargo, North Dakota, but you're just not sure if that's the right decision for you? Maybe you have a low interest rate on your current home, or maybe since the market isn't as hot as it once was, you don't know if you can take full advantage. Or maybe the most likely situation, you're considering selling your home, but you just don't want to end up making a decision you're going to regret down the road. In this video, I'm going over some things to think about if you're considering selling your home, the market stats are where we're at right now here in Fargo, and breaking everything down for you so you can make the best decision on whether you sell your house or not. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Sykora, your local real estate agent here in the Fargo-Moorhead area, and I have a lot of people who reach out through the channel who are interested in buying a home, selling a home, or both here in this unique and diverse area. If that sounds like you, you can be next. All my contact information will be in the description below, or you can schedule yourself right into my calendar, which will also be in the description below. So let's jump right into this video, breaking down some things to think about if you're considering selling your home, whether it's a good decision to make right now or not, and whether stats are saying right now here in Fargo, North Dakota. First up, I just want to give a quick disclaimer that there is no such thing as a perfect time to buy or sell a house. There's no such thing. If you're waiting for the perfect time, you're going to be waiting forever. This video is just meant to give you information, to ask some open-ended questions on your situation so you can make the best decision for your situation possible. Whether you end up selling your house or if you end up staying in your house for another 20 years. Whatever the decision may be, this is just strictly informational and here to give you information. Now first up, and probably most importantly, you just need to determine what your goals are for selling. There's a lot of different situations that people are selling their houses, but that's the thing that you need to determine right away. What are your goals when selling your house? Did you inherit a house? You're just trying to get rid of it. You don't really need the money, but you'll take the money, of course. Are you downsizing to something smaller? You kids are out of high school, out of college. You don't need all the space. Are you upsizing? Are you gonna have more kids, or do you need more space for your friends, family, pets, whatever it is, so you need to get a bigger house than the one you're currently at? Or are you just looking for something a little bit different because you've lived in the same house for a couple of years? Now, all these situations are very different in how you need to approach selling your home. For example, let's say someone's in their house right now, they're a little bit older, they fell, and they need to get to the hospital, there's no one living in the house, there's no one taking care of it, there's no one paying taxes. That's gonna take a different approach and a different strategy to sell that house and to sell it in the best time frame for those people possible than someone over here where, you know, they've lived in their house for a while, they have some good equity in it, they don't need to move, they're thinking about it, it's only if they find the right type of house they wanna move. Those two selling situations are very different because this one needs to sell and they need to sell soon, and this one is, you know, it's really open. So that's what you need to determine as you, the seller, when selling your house. What are your goals and what does your situation look like? Now, what I always do with people if they're interested in selling their home is we'll sit down and have a strategy conversation. This is just gonna open up, what are your goals? Do you need to move? Do you wanna move? Or do you have to move? Things like this to make sure you're on the same page with your agent and you know you're making the best decision for you, whether it's staying where you're at or it's selling your home. Now first, and up front, I wanna talk about one of the biggest reasons people always say they don't wanna sell their home or they think they locked in to where they're at now, which is interest rates. So a lot of people right now have an interest rate of like 2 to 3% on their current home, and they don't wanna get rid of that interest rate because it's so low. Because the thing is, in my honest opinion, I don't think the interest rates are ever gonna get down to below 3 ever again. They're at about like a little bit over 7 right now. Do I think they'll go lower? Yes. But do I think they'll go all the way down back to 3? No. So some sellers just really think they're stuck in their current home because they have this super good interest rate and they can kind of get rid of it and they're gonna have to double their interest rate and they move into a new home. Now it's something to think about. You know, depends on your financial situation too. Are you comfortable with where your monthly payment is at, even if it was the same in a different house with a higher interest rate? You know, are you not comfortable with that? Are you open to getting a bigger house that, yep, the interest rate may be higher, but then I can sell and take advantage of the equity I already have in my old home? But the thing is with interest rates, sometimes it doesn't even matter what the interest rate is. People are gonna have to move anyways. There's always people moving all the time, even when the interest rates were 15, because people need to move. Even in the winter in a seasonal market like Fargo-Moorhead, people are moving during the winter. But why is this? It's because stuff happens and life happens, so you need to move or sell your home here, anywhere, when you have a house. Things, I use the acronym DICE. So first up is death and divorce, okay? Obviously, if someone dies in a house, likely that house is gonna be sold. Divorce, same thing. Likely they'll need to sell the house and, split up or whatever. Income is another one. Maybe you're earning substantially more money, so of course you wanna get into a little bit bigger house. Or illness. Again, maybe someone's in their house, they're ill, they need to move out. Then, C, children is a huge one. Maybe your house doesn't have enough room for how many kids you want or how many kids you have. Then E is elderly or equity. So maybe you have a ton of equity in your current house, throw it into something else a little bit bigger, start gaining even more equity. Or of course, elderly, kind of the same thing with, illness. Once people get old, maybe they can't do the stairs anymore. They can't mow the lawn, they can't shovel the driveway, they need help with that. They need to move into something a little bit smaller, downsizing. So these are situations where people are gonna be moving year round. No matter what the interest rate is, no matter what the season is, they are gonna have to move during these times. So that's the thing. I think a lot of people get stuck up on, the market, the economic, state of everything, the stats. People are moving all the time, no matter what. Now, before I jump into some market stats, so we can see where Fargo-Moorhead is at right now for sellers and for buyers here in the area, if you're interested or even considering selling your house, or maybe you want some more information, or you want to know, some advice on your situation, you can reach out to me. I'm Zach. I'm a real estate agent here in the Fargo-Moorhead area. Just schedule a call through my calendar link in the description below, or you can find more contact information all in the description. But I'd be happy to help you out or give you some advice. So now we're going to hop into some of the stats of where the market's at right now here in Fargo. Now, first up, I brought up the median estimated property value. This is a very important number to show buying a house or selling a house is always a good investment to make. Look, these property values are constantly on the rise every single year. Grows the average of 3 to 6% every single year, give or take. This little dip right here was a mess up on the numbers. In the system, it was not a dip in property values. So these numbers are going to constantly rise every single year, 3 to 6%. Buying a house, selling a house, it's always a good investment. Selling is when, you obviously cash out on that investment. Now we can look at this too. Fargo-Moorhead is a very steady and consistent market. Some other markets across the country are not like that. They're all over the place, which you'll see on this next graph here. Switch it. Look, this is the home price index for some other markets across the country. New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Las Vegas. Look, it's up and down and all over the place. It's not a constant steady rise like we saw on the Fargo-Moorhead graph. So this is a Fargo-Moorhead real estate market where it's never really a bad time because it's constantly on the rise. So you don't have to time the dip. You don't have to time the, the height. You just got to sell whenever you're comfortable with selling. But again, that's a great thing about being in this Fargo-Moorhead real estate market. Yep, we're not going to have jumps in property value of 40 to 50% in a year, but we're not going to have dips in property values in 40 to 50% every single year. It's going to be constant in the green every single year, 3 to 6%, even a little bit higher some years. Next, we can look up at the new listings on the market. So obviously this month is May. We look back to April, we can see 216 new properties on the market with a 30% jump from last month. So what does this number tell us? It's pretty straightforward. There's a lot more people selling their house right now here in Fargo-Moorhead. And you also got to think of it too, likely, unless it's an investor, most of the people who are selling their house also need to buy a house. So there's a lot more buyers in the market too, not even counting the first-time home buyer market, which is the busiest sector of the market here in the area, but up 30% to 216. And again, we can see the dips too. I'll talk about that a little bit later, of the seasonality of the market here in Fargo-Moorhead. Of course, in the spring season right now here in Fargo. We can look at the active listings, median days on market. This is a very important number to make sure you time up your sale so you can find your next home while still not having to pay 2 mortgages, be homeless, that sort of thing. You can see this has a 27% drop. So a couple months ago during the winter months, it was above 100, but now it's at 39. That's a really significant drop in days on market, especially in a place where that was 3 months ago. That's it. That's how quick it changes here in Fargo-Moorhead, and we're in the spring season right now. So the median days on market is super low. And then we can look to the last graph, the number of pending listings, up 42%. Pending listings is the number of buyers in the market. Number of buyers putting offers in on homes, number of buyers looking at homes, and actually serious buyers on homes. Because you could have 90 showings on your house, but if you don't have someone that brings an offer, does it really matter? So these are serious buyers looking in the market, with a 42% jump in pending listings to 184. Now, pending listings, it doesn't matter how many listings are on the market. If there's listings out there, people will buy them. But it matters how many buyers are actually looking in the market, which we can see is a 42% jump from last month. So there's buyers out there in the market right now. There's a lot of people selling the market. And even though there's more properties coming on the market and more sales, the median days on market is going down. So there's people selling their houses quicker and quicker every single day here in Fargo-Moorhead in the spring, even though there's more houses and more competition. So that's the thing you need to know about the stats here, is that we're in the seasonal part of the year where it's really busy for sellers. It's really busy for buyers. It's not gonna be like this during the winter when we can see a couple months ago, 100 properties were pended compared to 180. Go back again, over 100 days on market a couple months ago. New listings, less than 50 a couple months ago, over 200 right now. It's very seasonal market here in Fargo-Moorhead. That's what people need to realize, that in the winter, there's still people selling their houses, but it's those people going through dice that are selling their house in the winter compared to the spring and summer here in Fargo. So as you can see from all the stats, there's a lot of people selling their house right now here in Fargo, and they're getting good money for it, even though the interest rates are a little bit higher than ideal. It's the spring market here in Fargo. As you saw from all the graphs too, it spikes up and down because it gets super slow during the winter and super busy during the spring and summer. We're during the busy season right now here in Fargo. It's gonna get more busy because, it's the end of May right now. What's gonna happen? School's gonna get out, college is gonna get out, families are gonna wanna move because they don't wanna move during the school year. Then it's gonna be a lot of activity all the way up to August when school starts. Then it's gonna slow down again, the winter season's gonna come, it's gonna get slower, that sort of thing. So you gotta know that if you're thinking of selling a home, or even if you're thinking of buying a home here in this Fargo-Moorhead area, it's a seasonal market and we're in the busy spring, summer season right now. And that's the thing I'm seeing in my personal business too. More people are reaching out, more inquiries about stuff, more showings on listings, more buyers out looking, more offers being written than it was a couple months ago in winter and December or January. And of course, it makes sense. No one wants to move when it's winter or when it's cold out. So that's what I'm seeing right now. So what are some situations where maybe you should wait to sell your home compared to some situations where, you should probably sell your home? So first, I'm just gonna go over a couple situations maybe you don't wanna sell your home. Maybe the interest rate is something where you don't wanna sell your home because your interest rate is so good and you don't need to move into a new home. That may be one situation where you wanna stay. Or you're just unsure of where to move to. You have literally no idea, you have literally just no idea where you want to move to. You haven't even ran your options yet, whatever. Maybe you move maybe in your future, like a year or two down the road, but start going out and looking at open houses, looking at your options that are out there, looking online to know what you like, what you don't like. So when you're ready to move, you can move right away and move quick, because the way houses go here in Fargo, they sell quick. So you don't want to be stuck, homeless here in Fargo if you're sold your home, but you just can't find somewhere else to live. Another situation is just if you're not ready to sell. Maybe your house needs a lot of updates and a lot of work. That's something you want to do before you sell to make sure you take advantage of the market. It's going to take a while to do those things, or maybe it's super, dirty, or you have a lot of stuff in your house. You can't sell your house when you have a lot of stuff in it, or if it's dirty, unless you want to sell it as is, which you can do absolutely. It's an option, but you are not going to get as high market value as you would if you were to, stage your home, to clean your home, to have professional fixtures on your home, that sort of thing. So those are some kind of situations where maybe, you don't need to sell right now. It's not a good idea. Now, some situations where maybe you do want to sell right now. Going back to the acronym DICE: death, divorce, illness, income, children, elderly, equity. Those are situations where you need to sell right now, and you should sell because you have really no other option. Then some other options for people who want to sell right now, people who want to take advantage of the market. Maybe you're an investor trying to get rid of some of your properties or whatever. Right now is the time to sell because now is when all the buyers are in the market. There's gonna be no buyers in the market when it's December and it's -20 out. The buyers are gonna be in the market now when it's 70s out, school's out, summer's here. That's when the buyers are gonna be in the market. So if you're looking to take advantage of the market, or you have some situation in your life where you need to sell, or even you just want to move up because you need a bigger home, you have some equity that you want to roll over into something else, that is when it's a good time to sell. So this video, again, it's not here to force you to buy or sell. It's not here to make you make a decision. There's no perfect time to time the market. This is just here to give you information, to give you some stats of where we're at right now here in Fargo, North Dakota.
Ela se incomoda, várias na minha bota. Nós que joga o pix e elas que joga shot.